wonderful to be with all of you today. The energy in this room is overwhelmingly strong and powerful, and it's just such a blessing to be here with all of you. I want to start off by asking, show of hands or voices, how many of us have taken a philosophy class? All right. How many of us have slept through a philosophy class? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, when we think about what philosophy is, we might think of books written hundreds or thousands of years ago by some dead guys. And maybe that would be right, depending on how it was taught to us. But I stand here today on the shoulders of giants in a living tradition that stretches back to the beginning of humanity. We have always been possessed by deep questions. And when we stand deeply within questions, they change us. Questions take us over. They open us. They bring us into a new experience of life. They bring us into new relationships. Philosophy's been a passion of mine for years, and I've been coming to Marion to meet with some philosophers here for the last 2. But before we get into talking about philosophy, I think we should do some. So we'll start with taking a deep breath or two in. All right, everybody with me? Let's do. Close your eyes softly. And let's imagine the box that is the theme of today's event. Maybe we envision it just as a blank cardboard box, or the program we may be holding in our hands. Or maybe it's this room, this chapel, or this institution. What we're seeing is a box. And we're not seeing it with our eyes. We're seeing it with our mind's eye. Now know that this box represents incarceration and our desire for reintegration and rehabilitation, for a reunification of our communities. And as we see this box in our mind's eye, let's put some things in it, like what we know about recidivism rates in this country, or the stories in this room that have the power to knock us off of our feet. And notice, as you are envisioning the box, where are you in relationship to the box? Are you inside it? Are you standing beyond it? Can you pivot between? Can you start outside and move in? Can you remain inside and then move out? Now today, some of us walked into this box voluntarily. Some of us today are not here voluntarily. Some of us will leave today when this event is over. Some of us will not. But right now, as we envision the box in our mind's eye, we have the power to decide if we are in the box or out of the box, and what our relationship is to it. And it is from this point that we ourselves are the fulcrum to shift the box, to refold the box, to reposition it, to choose what is in it. And that's why we're all gathered today. And this is the power of the human mind. This is the liberatory power of the human mind. So we've all just exercised the faculty of imagination to envision the box. This faculty of imagination in the ancient Egyptian culture was represented as a bird, could spread its wings and fly out of the center of any human's forehead. We'll return to this in just a moment. I'd like to say a few words about why I do what I do, and why philosophy matters in today's world, and why the thoughts of humans from thousands of years ago, perhaps, matter. And more importantly, why the thoughts of the men in this institution are so powerful. Actually, I'm humbled by the fact that the friend who brought me into this environment and initiated this experience for me is with us today. His name's Aaron Conley, sitting in the back here. He linked me up with Joe D. Davis, and I came to the institution for the first time 2 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago today. And I was asked this question when I first arrived: why philosophy? And the question has never ceased. When I explain to people that what I do on Wednesdays is I go to a prison and I meet with philosophers, they want to know why. Right? And why is the essential question of philosophy, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But I do want to say, again, about the essence of philosophy, that it is questions and not answers that we sit with. Because again, the questions changes. Answers are where thinking stops. Questions are where it begins. Philosophy is about new beginnings and ever beginning again. And in this sense, it is redemptive. Right? I may think one way one day, and my thinking may lead to a particular kind of action. But if I'm fortunate enough to have someone who questions me, or to bring myself to questioning, I'm at a new beginning. A new beginning every time I ask the question. And this, I believe, is the role that philosophy can play in rehabilitation and reintegration. It is the ever-new beginning. Philosophy taps the deep well of human potential and draws things up, draws powers out of us, brings us into dialogues we didn't even know we were capable of. I venture to say that many of us might hesitate to apply the label philosopher to ourselves, but I would suggest that philosophy surrounds all of us in our lives. The word philosophy means the love of wisdom. And in some ways, I think philosophy can augment psychology in the reintegrative process. Psychology means the speech of the soul. Philosophy means the loving pursuit of wisdom. So if we want to bring our souls to speak, let's have them speak with wisdom, in wisdom, for wisdom, to wisdom. I'd like to wrap up today. 3 takeaways in a story. I start all of my classes off saying that there are 3 essential moods to questioning that set us up for the dialogues that will change our lives. The first is that we find joy in questioning rather than be threatened by it. The second is that we be honored when someone brings a powerful question to us. It is an honor when someone takes the time to attend to you and question you. And the third is to see being challenged as an opportunity and not to shrink back from it. The reason I keep doing this is that 3 separate times in my classes, totally independently of one another, I've had my peers or my students look me in the eyes, apart from the group, thank me for my dedication and the relationship that we've built, and then tell me shyly, as if it's something difficult to admit, I only feel free when I am in your class. I only feel free when my mind is free. And the essential freedom in human existence is available to anyone regardless of their circumstance. Regardless of if you are incarcerated or not, you have the power to re-envision yourself. You have the power to change your life. Thank you.